got a Tottenham update first and foremost for you guys. But without further ado, let's talk about our sponsors, Stocks FC, showing us so much love in terms of our portfolio at the moment. Still looking fairly healthy.
Yeah, we're in profit. Romero making some big jumps, up 65%. Again, Ange saying he's not going to be available for the next couple games, but hopefully for that crucial second leg, maybe he's looking for a turn there. Richarlison, after a dip, is now back up 30%. So people, maybe the fact that he's not injured and he's back in training, people are getting back involved in Richarlison. But big drops in Phil Foden, James Maddison, and a massive drop in Alisson has caused a bit of a hit to the portfolio. But those are all situations I'm confident will change for the better.
And what situation I'm really confident of in terms of moving upwards, if he can stay clear of injury, is Mickey van de Ven, because he is back in training now. Everyone's kind of seen him in the videos today of training, so I think he's going to take a massive upward turn in terms of his trajectory.
And he'll hopefully play tomorrow, and if that happens, I think people will be buying on Van de Ven, so it could be a good time to get him in.
Yeah, we've had also in-play rewards from Sade, Salah, Son, Maddison, Watkins, Foden, Richarlison, Kulusevski. So we're getting a lot of rewards for the in-play stuff, and also Team of the Week, I think. Let's have a look at Team of the Week.
Let's have a look at Team of the Week. So last week, we had Maddison, got some rewards from him.
And that's all we had in Team of the Week, just Maddison.
Yeah, Maddison.
So it seems like every week, though, we have at least someone in Team of the Week. So that's positive. So that's more rewards for us. But yeah, get yourselves into Stocks FC. Really fun game to play. Football trader platform. It's only just a bit of fun, guys. So do only spend what you can afford. If you do use our link and QR code on screen right now, you get 5 free loan players, guys. So that means that you get to open 5 packs. 5 players will pop out of them, and you get to keep your profits at the end. But let's get straight in to the Tottenham update. Big up to Stocks FC, and let's start off talking about an injury news roundup from Ange Postecoglou. He says Mickey is good. He's good to go. We'll try get him some match minutes. He's had a good week, 10 days with the team. Maddison has a calf strain, 2 to 3 weeks. Pape is okay, still a bit of a niggle, but he's okay and available, and so is Bissouma. Kuti is a slow burner, and we're mindful of his injury is a bit different. Not on the horizon at the moment in terms of the weekend, and Jed Spence is available for the weekend. So I guess some positive and some negative.
Yeah, as we've said, some come in, some go out. That's the nature of our current injury crisis. So I think we still go into tomorrow's game with about 12 unavailable players. So in terms of numbers, not great. He didn't mention Vicario in his press conference, but we saw him in training with the first team. Ali Gold was reporting that Vicario didn't seem to be separated from the other keepers. He seemed to be doing all the same drills that the other keepers were doing, so he must be very close to return, I would assume, if that was the case. So that's really encouraging as well, that Vicario's going to be back very soon. In terms of Van de Ven, it was quite interesting what you were saying about him. So he said he's been training with him for the team for the last week to 10 days. And he was asked, are you taking extra precautions? Are you going to be very cautious with him? He said, well, look, we're trying to be as cautious as we can, and we tried to do that last time, but obviously the circumstances of the game, he played longer than he should have, and he ended up picking up an injury. But he also said, when you've got a player like Van de Ven, obviously you want to be cautious with him, knowing the injuries he's had, but as well, you can keep him training forever, but he's got to play at some point. And when he's been training for 10 days, it might be the time to throw him in. He said it's a European game tomorrow. It could be a good time to get him some minutes and see how he plays. Judging by what he was saying, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he is in there from the start. But obviously, I think most Spurs fans want him definitely for that game at Anfield, and don't want to risk any sort of risk of him not being available for that game. So we'll see what he does tomorrow. He said basically he's going to get some minutes, he's going to be involved, and he said we'll see how many minutes we can get out of him. So from that basis, maybe he won't start, but be really great to see him back on the pitch either way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we'll see him probably about 10-15 minutes towards the end of the game. He says, we'll get him some match minutes. So I don't think he's going to start, but we'll get him some match minutes. And then in terms of Vicario, it is an interesting one, whether he's going to start, whether he's going to be on the bench.
Obviously, Kinski's unavailable.
Yeah, Kinski's unavailable. Brandon Austin is there, who's done himself the world of good in terms of the performances against Newcastle and last time out in the Europa League. So I do think just err on the side of extra caution and just play Austin in this game, maybe with a view of Vicario coming in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, with Kinski, look, he's done well, I think, since he's come in. So it'll be interesting on the weekend. If Vicario's fit, does he just chuck him straight in and get Kinski out? Or is he going to say, look, Kinski, you've done well since you come in, you're going to be starting for a bit until, I guess, Vicario's completely fully fit, or maybe he has to earn his spot back? It'd be interesting. But obviously, Kinski's also had a couple of issues, against Arsenal. Made that mistake, didn't he? And so maybe with the Vicario being part of the leadership group now, a very vocal member, maybe he feels as soon as he's back fit, he's going to have to come straight back in. Be interesting to see what Ange decides there.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what happens with that. In terms of Yan Min Hyuk, Alistair Gold confirmed that he is set to move to QPR on loan, which we brought you yesterday, saying that QPR are leading the race, but it looks as though it's nearly signed, sealed and delivered.
Yeah, Ange confirmed that as well.
Oh, Ange confirmed it as well,
confirmed in his press. He didn't say QPR specifically, but he said he's going to get a loan deal. He said, it's quite interesting. He said, in the current situation, the last thing I want to do is just chuck another young player into the situation because he said he doesn't think it'll be fair on him. He wants him to give him time to adapt to English football, and he thinks he'll do him the world of good going out on loan and getting regular minutes. So looks like it is QPR. It's not official yet, but Ali Gold, I think, said, as you say, it's all but confirmed pretty much. So that's really encouraging. We'll definitely be taking a look at QPR from now to the end of the season and see how he gets on. And looking at other loan players, I mean, they're all having a really good time of it at the moment. Our loan players have been doing really well. So hopefully Jan can join that list.
Yeah, in terms of the loan players, actually, let's just do a quick roundup, because I did one on social media last night. And Jamie Donnelly last night, by the way, wow. If anyone didn't see his contributions yesterday, he got 2 assists and a goal, and I think in a 6-0 win for Leyton Orient against away at Exeter. His goal was absolutely phenomenal, like a volley from the edge of the area, roofing into the roof of the net. I mean, smashing into the roof of the net. And one of his assists was just a sublime assist as well. And he also did an assist for Dylan Markande, who's just joined Leyton Orient. So a goal made in a Hotspur away, delivered in Exeter last night. So he's racked up 6 assists and 5 goals for Leyton Orient.
Considering as well that he struggled in the first few months, this has all come really in the last couple of months. And
yeah,
he's been on flying form, and it seems as though as soon as he adjusted to that level, obviously it's a big step up, isn't it, from under 21s football to men's football, and especially it's League One as well, so it's tough, especially going to a new club like that. And first of all, Leyton Orient themselves on unbelievable form. I think they've won 10 of the last 12 or something. They're unbeaten, and I think it's really basically coincided with Keeley and Donnelly really becoming staples in that team. And especially Donnelly, since he's been hitting form, he's been I think they've fallen in love with him. And it's quite funny, I don't know if you saw it or not on social media yesterday. There was a Leyton Orient fan on Twitter, and he quote tweeted his own tweet. So the first tweet said, it was from a couple months ago. It said, Donnelly, time to get your UCAS out because I don't think football's for you. And then he quote tweeted his own tweet saying, this guy's a special player. I don't think I could have been more wrong on him. He's like, I apologise because this guy is unbelievable. And he's really looks like everyone is really starting to believe in him. And it's brilliant because everyone was saying, obviously, last season, what a season he was having for the under-21s. It was a big part of why Spurs, romped that league last season. And after the first couple months, the type of player he is, he was kind of finding it hard to nail down a certain position. He was playing on the wing, in the midfield, and he's now found his position, and he's a delight to watch. Some of the assists and some of the goals, he's scoring free kicks, he's playing with high confidence, and that assist, the technique on that assist there, this low driven through ball, perfectly way of pass. I don't know who scored it, but it was right into the feet of the Orient attacker who scored, and it was you have to go watch it. His goal as well, unbelievable from him, and he seems to be having the time of his life at the moment. And it'll be interesting to see, next season, if he keeps up this form, does Spurs consider bringing him back into the fold, or maybe a Championship loan, or even a low Premier League loan next season? This guy's developing into a real talent, and it would be brilliant for him to have a future in the first team with us going forward.
That catalyst of the Leyton Orient form all came from that Josh Keeley last-minute goal in the FA Cup. Since then, they've really found this newfound confidence, and they've been romping everyone in that league. league, and they've just come. I think they just came up, or they're one of they're nowhere near one of the favourites to go up, and they're really bearing down into the playoffs now. So credit to Leyton Orient. Josh Keeley as well, 12 clean sheets, 1 goal, 1 assist as well in Leyton Orient colours. George Abbott, who's having a flying season as well, 4 assists and 4 goals for him, and some of his goals this season as well have been phenomenal.
And yesterday got another assist.
Yeah,
yesterday got another assist. So he's another one who seems to be really taking it into his stride at Notts County. So another really exciting player. And I'm just so happy that this group of players at the moment, it seems, the ones last season who are making such an impact, obviously there's high hopes for them. And they're starting to show that they really are a special group, because they're all going out on loan. They're all doing unbelievable out on loan. And obviously you got Mikey Moore Lancashire doing stuff here at the moment, more Mikey Moore in the first team. So it really, we're talking about a golden generation, but it's starting to come to fruition a bit by the way things are going.
Yeah. And Westerlo out in Belgium, Luka Vuskovic, in terms of goal output, he's scored more goals than any of our players out on loan, which is madness. He's a centre-back, 17-year-old centre-back. He's got 6 goals and 1 assist.
And you could argue he's playing at the hardest level potentially as well.
He's at a top league. Not a top league, but he's at the top league in a certain country. Yeah. Alfie Devine, he's got no goals, but he's got 4 assists to his name. Manor Solomon.
No assists, 4 goals.
No assists, 4 goals. Manor Solomon, he's starting to really perform in the Championship at the moment. 7 assists and 5 goals in all competitions. Dane Scarlett, who's back at the club now, he got 4 goals and 1 assist. And Alejo Veliz, he's probably the most disappointing one out of the lot, but he's got 0 assists and 4 goals, but 3 of those goals coming against lower league opposition in Spain in a cup, and one of the goals came like one of the first few games of the season. So
yeah, there were talks of him cutting that loan short, but seeing as it's the end of Jan and hasn't happened, I'm assuming he's going to be staying there, I guess, till the end of the season.
I'd assume so.
Is he even getting minutes at the moment?
Not really.
It's a massive shame that.
Yeah.
And I wonder what we do with him. Do we consider selling him, or I don't know? Because we've got all these young strikers. As you say, Scarlett's back at the club. You've got Will Lancashire at the moment as well. And obviously you've got Solanke and you've got Richarlison ahead of him. So I don't know what we do with Alejo Veliz.
Yeah, what do we think we do with Dane Scarlett now, though? Because he's back at the club. There's no... they said he's back at the club to loan him out again, but there's been no talk of it. Do you reckon he's going to stay at the club and get some minutes?
I think a deadline day move somewhere. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. Look, to be fair, he has... I know he's kind of been in and out the Oxford team this season, but he did go through that purple patch and he showed he can score goals at that level. So I would think a Championship team might be interested in bringing him in, but at the moment, no one's really... doesn't seem to be there at the moment.
Moving on, and let's talk about the Don Fabio Paratici, as his 30-month ban is set to end in July. I really hope that I know he's still been at the club, in and around the club as what you call just on an advisory level, but I think we all know he's probably been doing a bit more than that. But seeing as Lange is not exactly flavour of the month at the moment, I don't know what he's doing. Lange, I'm not too sure he's doing a great job by any stretch of the imagination. So in my opinion, I'd love to see come the summer, Lange probably lose his job and Fabio assume those duties again.
We can want that. I don't know if that's going to happen. Obviously, Fabio, when he was here before, when he first came in, he was working with Hitchin. So clearly, I don't think he's against working with someone else. But then obviously Hitchin did leave 6 months into that. So I think it was more Hitchin felt like he was surplus to requirements. I think he might have left. I don't think he was sacked. I think he just resigned. I think
Hitchin. I think it was like
maybe he was being pushed out. I think obviously Fabio is so all encompassing. It seems there has been rumours that when Fabio and Lange were obviously together a bit, Lange was feeling like he was stepping on his toes a bit Fabio. So with Fabio coming back into the picture, be interesting to see how that kind of plays out. Will him and Lange have a falling out? Will Lange end up leaving? Will Levy back Lange and tell Fabio he's no longer needed? It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Obviously, Fabio was brilliant at sorting lots of different deals and getting deals over the line with having certain relationship with clubs, certain other clubs like Juventus and bigger clubs, and he was very good at structuring different deals that worked for us and was made the other clubs happy as well. So I think everyone was happy with how Fabio was working. Now Lange is come through the door. He's been quite good at getting younger players in, but when it comes to getting, big deals, I know Solanke came in, but other than that, people have been less than impressed with some of the work he's been doing, especially this window where we've needed players for a while, and clearly he's struggled. Whether he's been trying or not, he has failed to get what we've needed in this window in a timely manner, and that's the reality. So whether he'll be held accountable for that, or whether, the club see the reasons why or what we're not seeing, we'll have to wait and see. But it'll be very interesting come July if once Fabio's ban is done, does he get reinstated? Is he just going to stay in a advisory? What do they call it? Not advisory.
Just bring back the Don, man. Just bring back the Don. He's the guy. He's the guy. I'm telling you. Romeo Agresti told us at the time, this guy is the best sporting director, bar none.
Well, he won awards, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and I still firmly believe that. And you're talking about young players. Fabio was very good at bringing in young players as well, in terms of Pape Matar and Destiny Udogie and these kind of guys. I think when you're looking at Lange and the work he's done, I think he was very instrumental in bringing Lucas Bergvall to the club, and you've got to give him a lot of credit for that deal because of his connections in Sweden and stuff like that. But apart from that, I don't see a deal that Fabio probably couldn't have done.
Yeah, who knows? But as you said, I think obviously we signed Lange. When did we bring him in? Was it in the summer? Or no, he didn't know. He started just after the summer, didn't he?
Was it after?
No, was it last summer? I can't even remember.
It was last year, wasn't it?
It was last summer. Yeah, I think he joined just after last summer, wasn't it, when Ant took over. So I'm trying to think. So Dragusin came in January. Werner. Yeah, I think I think definitely since he's come in, the activity could have been better. That's for sure.
A lot better.
So I think most people would say just get Fabio back and kick Lange out the door. But whether the club is see it that way, I don't know.
Forget the club and most people. What do you feel?
Yeah, I'd much rather Fabio back at the helm for sure. Obviously, it's the thing with Fabio. It's a lot louder. That's for sure. It feels like
we want to see 10 deals all going on.
All deals
at the
were very
time,
public.
man.
It seemed under Fabio, always on the phone. I don't think you'll see Fabio watching the game without a phone in his hand and making things happen. So it was great. It was a lot of good theatre, and he had got a lot of deals done. And the deals for Decky and Bentancur, in hindsight, what brilliant deals they were. Good prices, and also really good structures as well. So he has those relationships. So I'd much rather see Fabio through the door. But I don't know whether the club are just going to kick Lange out because the fans aren't happy with him. I don't know if the club as well are not happy with him. I don't know.
They bloody well should be. But let's move on and let's talk about specific players now. And the first one is a very interesting one about Matthias Tell. Romano yesterday says that Tell's decision to leave Bayern, exclusively revealed last night, has opened the doors to several clubs. Chelsea are still there since the beginning of January, while more top Premier League clubs are also keen on the active in active contact now. Race is open. Bild reported today saying that Tottenham are one of the clubs interested in Tell. Sammy Mockbell says that Tottenham are among the clubs exploring a move for Bayern Munich forward Matthias Tell. Fierce competition for the teenager, but Spurs are one of the clubs trying. Matt Laws says Tottenham Hotspur are ready to make a move for Matthias Tell, along with other clubs, and rival Chelsea for his signature. Amid interest from clubs in Matthias Tell, it's worth noting that Spurs have a good relationship with Bayern Munich after recent dealings with the two clubs were fruitful. However, Paul O'Keefe says the boy wants Manchester United. Let's see how Bayern play that. In terms of the good relations between Bayern Munich and Tottenham Hotspur, I mean, I do remember like the deal, the relations between Bayern Munich and Spurs getting a bit bit antsy towards the end of that Kane deal. Wasn't Kane like on the plane and then Levy went back and tried to renege the deal, and then he missed his flight, and then he had to get on the next flight.
There's Levy always trying to just get more and more money out of them.
That's what I'm saying, but does that leave a good taste in
their side as well? There was very, very public and open pursuit of Kane, wasn't it? They were quite disrespectful in some of the comments they were making, I thought, about Spurs.
So,
but
I mean, does that sound like there's a good relationship there?
Yeah, but that's all public. Behind closed doors, I reckon they probably respect each other in that sense, I reckon the Bayern probably respect the fact that Levy's a tough negotiator and he's just trying to get the best deal. I think he definitely steps on some toes, Levy, but I think it's very common or very public, like most chairmans respect him as a very tough negotiator, that's for sure, in world football. And I think that's a fair comment. Like, everyone knows that he's very hard to deal with, Daniel Levy, in a lot of aspects. And I think a lot of chairmen get pissed off with him, but I think a lot of chairmen also respect it. I don't know, when it comes to Bayern, whether the relationship's good. Obviously, Dyer, we gave him a pretty good deal with what we just gave it to him, pretty much. But 6 months left on the contract. In terms of Matthias Tell, obviously I'd love this move to pan out. I think it'd be so perfect because he can play on the wing, he can play up front, he's versatile, really good dribbler. I know he's a 19-year-old kid, but he's maybe different to the likes of Bergvall, Gray and the other teenagers we have, in the sense that he's actually had a few years behind him playing at a top level, and he's got a few appearances, and he's got a fairly good record for Bayern when he has played as well. And he's a guy desperate to come in and prove himself and start playing regularly, and I think he would fit in like a glove at Spurs. I think it would be brilliant. Unfortunately, given the fact that we're 15th and we're going in during an injury crisis, we're not in the Champions League, does that work against us in terms of money? Look, apparently Man United are struggling with PSR, so could we compete with them money-wise? I mean, unless they maybe sell Garnacho and commit those fees to Tell, maybe. But I think we could probably equal at least what Man United are probably offering if it's a permanent or whatever it is. But if he wants Man United, maybe he wants the big name and he sees a future there, then it's going to be a tough sell, obviously. Could we agree a deal with Bayern ahead of Man United potentially? Maybe. But again, if Arsenal get involved or are serious about him, considering they're in Champions League and a title race, and he can probably get into that first team right now with Martinelli's form, I mean, that would also be a tough sell ahead of them as well. So
Chelsea there as well.
Apparently he doesn't want Chelsea. That's the reports.
Reports from who?
Some other very reliable reports saying he doesn't want Chelsea. I think Plettenberg was saying it. He doesn't want Chelsea.
I don't understand why he wouldn't want Chelsea and he would come to us.
He said the competition's too much at Chelsea. He said he wants guaranteed minutes and play time, and I think you'd get that at Tottenham, to be honest. But yeah, I think.
Do you think he'd be get guaranteed minutes at Arsenal? With Saka's injury,
and with
Martinelli can move over. I
think he would.
You've got a number 9 in Havertz, which is not really working at the moment.
That's the thing. Martinelli's not in good form. Havertz, he can definitely. If I was Tell, I'd back myself to be ahead of Havertz as well. So I think he probably would be guaranteed game time at Arsenal as well. So yeah, I see it being very unlikely, but I can dream, and I'd love it to happen.
He's one as well that Don Fabio tried to get in the deal for Kane when we sold Kane to Bayern Munich, and obviously Tell at that point didn't want to leave Bayern because he backed himself to get regular minutes, and that just hasn't happened because he's 19 years of age. He's got a big future in the game. He's a top talent. Don't get me wrong, but I just can't see Spurs with a host of kind of teams probably in for him, and probably teams that we don't know about, not even in the press yet. They're going to be looking for a signature. When a player like that comes on the market this late, there's just going to be a scramble to get him, isn't there? And I just don't think that Spurs can. I mean, I'd be delighted if we could, and I'll be bouncing up and down and be giddy with glee if we can get Matthias Tell through the door. But I just can't see it as a realistic possibility. But
this is one as well. If we could get a permanent, I'll definitely do it for sure. Like other ones, I'll be a bit hesitant to do. But I think if we can get him on a permanent, yes. But I think Tell would probably only join us on loan. Really, I don't think he'd come on a permanent in January.
Yeah, and in terms of a loan, I mean that would be if he was open to coming here, it's a pretty simple one to do. He's on less than 100 grand a week in the 95 to 96 ballpark figure, and that should be an easy one for Spurs to do.
Yeah, for sure. So let's see what happens, because we're running out of time, that's for sure, and we need someone.
Bloody 29th of January and still no signings, man. This would never happen if Fabio was the sporting director, albeit that was that window that we did get Kulusevski and Bentancur the last
right at the end,
window, yeah. But we weren't in the injury crisis that we're in now, that's for sure. Last but not least, L'Equipe are reporting that Tottenham are interested in Monaco forward Breel Embolo, and he's valued at 20 million euros. I mean, he's a good player, Embolo. He seems to consistently do it for Switzerland and the competitions and stuff like that. But he's also a player that just has so many injury problems. Didn't he just come back from an ACL or something like that just before the Euros or something? And
he's always had injury problems, yeah.
Yeah,
always.
He has. And I like him. I think he's a good player, but I just feel like he's a ticking time bomb in terms of injuries.
I've never been that impressed with him. I think he's a player who's got really good physical attributes. He's strong, he's quick. I think technically he can be found wanting a bit. He's always had plagued with injury. I think he's one of these players who, when he first broke onto the scene, he looked like he was going to be a real good player when he was younger and never really fully lived up to his potential. As you say, he's one of these players where he comes to the tournaments, he seems to always impress and make an impact. But when it comes to, I think when I look at his goal scoring record, I think only really in 2 or 3 years in his whole career he's hit double figures in the league. So it's not like he's ever been a player that's had an unbelievable scoring record.
Since moving on from Basel, it's only been once.
Well, there you go. So I think...
And he's 27 years of age.
But he is also a player, in terms of the fit for us, in terms of versatility, he can play on the wing, he can play up front, he's got pace. Could he do a job for us, potentially? It's not a player that I think moves the needle massively. It is an extra body. We're probably better off having him on loan than not having anyone. But it's not one that I think we get, and I think it's a massive game changer. But I think he's a good player, but he's nothing special, that's for sure.
Yeah. Look, yeah, I do agree with that. I mean, if you're telling me Embolo or no one, obviously I'm taking Embolo, and I think he could be an interesting one for the last kind of week of the window, but I probably wouldn't want to sign him on a permanent, maybe just a loan until the end of the season.
He reminds me a bit of Brennan Johnson, the way he plays. Just needs a bit of space to play into.
He's more physical than Brennan, though.
A bit more physical, a bit stronger. He's also quick as well. As you say, he has had a lot of injuries to recover from throughout his career, and he had a very serious one not so long ago. So let's see if there's any genuine interest in him. But I think in the Champions League, I think for Monaco, I think they've been really good in the Champions League, and I think maybe he's been playing up his part in that. So maybe he's coming into form this season, but...
Yeah, not like that Akilush. Did you see his goal last week?
Yeah, brilliant.
That overhead kick.
He's a brilliant
I'm
player.
just trying to look to see if he has played for them in the Champions League, and he has, 7 games, 1 goal, 2 assists. So not bad. But that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below. Should Spurs bring in Embolo? Do you think we have a hope in hell to sign Matthias Telt as well? Let us know
I guess
in
maybe
the comment section
some
below.
of these Decky quotes, maybe add that in.
The Decky quotes?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on then.
So Decky, I thought, gave a really great press conference today. I think not just about, first of all, there's obviously these quotes have been going around that we posted about the problems at Tottenham. He was talking about why is the form been so bad and what the problems are, and he was saying how he said we've got 10, 11 players fit in 4 competitions, and it's not okay, he said, and that is obviously a big reason why the league form has just dropped off a cliff. We're doing very well in the cups, but he said you can look at the manager, you can look at the players, but I think it's bigger than that, which was a quote which is what everyone talking about, whether he's directing that at the board or who he's directing that. He was asked to clarify those quotes by another journalist. What he said, you said that, what do you mean by that? And he clarified saying, it's very clear we've got 10, 11 players, and it's not enough, essentially, and that's the reason why. Whether you think he's taking shots at the board or not, you can let everyone leave their own conclusion. I think you can't really. I think you have to say he probably is, because if he's saying that publicly, we've got all these players injured, and there needs help, and it's not just the manager, the players, it's more than that. And I think, yes, it's the injuries, but I think he is probably subtly hinting at, they're not getting enough help from higher up as well, in my opinion, from that aspect. But as well, some very good quotes about Ange Postecoglou, about, does he still believe he's the right man for the job? Why do you believe he is? And he said, I see the football he wants to play, and I really believe in his way of playing. I really want to play that football. We've played some beautiful football in some games like Man City this season, and I think it can really work, and I do believe we can do something special in the last 4 months of the season. And I really believe I see the truth, he said, day in, day out. I see the truth, and I don't listen to the noise. And I really believe that's why I believe Ange Postecoglou is the right man for the job. So quite interesting quotes, I thought, there from Kulusevski. Yeah,
pretty interesting. I mean, look, I think it's obvious that the injuries have hampered our season a lot in terms of the form that we're on now. Like, it's just 2 wins since the beginning of November. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket science to see that that's clearly hampered us, but the reason of why it's hampered us, the way we managing it throughout, in terms of overplaying certain players, certain players not getting a look in, certain players not having enough minutes even throughout this injury crisis. So I think there have been kind of factors as well why we haven't done a little bit better, at least during this injury crisis. But I think in terms of what Decky's saying, I think we know that behind the scenes that some players probably back Ange Postecoglou, maybe other players don't. And I think Kulusevski is one of the players that clearly is behind Ange and loves the way that he works and loves the kind of football he's trying to implement.
Yeah, so I think, those are definitely interesting quotes. Now the big question is, was he taking a shot at the board when he said those quotes?
I'm not so sure he was. I just think he was mainly talking about the injuries.
But isn't he implying we're not getting enough help?
I mean, I hope he was. I really hope he was. But I just feel like he's saying that the season has been completely hampered by the injuries that we have got. I don't know if he's talking about signings coming through the door since the beginning of January. I hope he was. And I'd like to believe he was, but I don't know. I just think he's just mainly talking about the injuries.
Yeah, I think obviously the injuries is the big problem, but he's saying he said we've got 10 to 11 players for 4 competitions and it's not okay.
Yeah.
And I think that the phrasing in that way,
because we've got 10, 11 injuries.
And we have no help.
Yeah.
And we need help. And I think that's what is implied. I think it is a subtle dig, in my opinion, at the higher ups, that we need more help with this playing. So obviously Ange has been consistent about how much help the playing staff needs, and that we need these players through the door this month, and it hasn't happened. And I think, considering all of that, and the players are being overplayed that are still fit, we all know that it needs help. And I think the way he phrased it, I think for me, does come to the conclusion that he is taking a subtle dig at board level, that we haven't given the required help this window that the club have known since the start of the month that we've needed. And he, the way he said we have 10, 11 fit players for 4 competitions and it's not okay. The way he phrased that, for me, is a slight dig at the top.
I really hope you're right. I really hope you're right. And I'm all for subtle and out there digs for the board. So if Decky is taking a dig at the board, then good on you, because we need more players to come out and have their voices heard. Romero did it a couple weeks back. Sonny has said something along those lines as well. So I think the more people that can come out and say what they feel about this ownership, the way they're running the club at the moment, the better.
Definitely.
But yeah, that is your Tottenham update then. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Decky was having a dig at the board? Let us know in the comment section below, people.